Hey, locker room, what's up? I'm panicking over here because they have a ground stop on all airports here in Dallas. So I was supposed to already be flying to Miami and get to Miami, but all airports are on a ground stop. And, if they're saying ground stop, I don't try to push it or anything. But if this thing holds and I got to drive 4 hours to Houston and catch a flight, if it's just in the Dallas area. I don't know. I don't know if it's Texas, whatever. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to get to Miami some way or the other. If I have to strike out driving, I'm exaggerating. I'm not going to strike out driving to get to Miami. But I will be in Miami, so let me stop saying that. But I wanted to talk about, because man, you'll start seeing what teams are now. We have a great slate of games, and you guys are now rounding into football shape. Yes, this is the third game. So what were we doing prior to this thing? Remember, they used to go hard in training camp, and then you ramp up. In the first, second, third preseason game was your real try. You put everybody in to kind of get a test of where you are. This is the third regular season game. They have taken out training camp. So training camp has kind of amalgamized a little bit into the season. And what you'll see is it takes those first two games to kind of get guys in football shape, since they can't bang heads in training camp like we used to. We scrimmaged every day. Jimmy made us hit every day. So that was a different thing. So that's probably for the best in what they're doing. So that's why we got to wait till the third game. So you'll start seeing it now. And I just want to pick out the most important three big games that I see. The three biggest games that I see. I'm going to exclude the Cowboys because I'm talking about them all the time anyway. So let me tell you what. And I'll go 3-1. The third, and I'm kind of in order I see it too, is going to be that Broncos-Chargers game. So much on the Broncos-Chargers game because everybody's trying to find out how real are the Chargers. And then the Broncos supposedly have this great defense, and the defense kind of leaked last week. It just took a little leak. That's going to be a great game. What's funny about this is the battle between, and not funny, but I mean really interested in what draws me to it, is the battle between these head coaches. You got Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton, and these are, let me say this, two of the best head coaches we have. Different styles, but two of the great. Right now, you see, I love what Jim Harbaugh is doing with Justin Herbert. He says the only thing to stop them from getting to the Super Bowl is keeping him healthy. You got to keep him healthy. And he comes in the mentality, we're going to run and be physical. And then he throws the ball all over the field. Justin Herbert and his team has been throwing the ball all over the field, and they have a number of weapons. Let me tell you what makes them so dangerous for the Broncos, and why I think I would take the Chargers over the Broncos. The Chargers got Ladd McConkey making plays on the inside, but they also have Keenan Allen making plays on the inside. Short passing game. So whatever they don't have in the run game, they're able to make it up in the short passing game. You see what I mean? And then the key factor to all of that working is the number one factor. And that's the guy wearing number one. And that is Quentin Johnson. Everybody thought Chargers would be a run-first team, run the ball. But they've come out and they're spreading the ball out with this quarterback, Justin Herbert. I told you what Coach said about Justin Herbert and all the little patting on the back and everything, but he's letting him throw the ball all over the floor. Because with those two inside presence, Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey, used as a little short run game, the number one factor for the Chargers this year is what Quentin Johnson is doing. That dude right here in TCU. What he is doing is he's had over 70 yards each game and scored a touchdown. And Quentin Johnson, when I watched him play at TCU and then he went to the Chargers, they've had some issues with drops and everything, but you could tell Coach has built back up his confidence. And with that passing game of just doing what they're doing, the linebacker, everybody, the mixed matches they're going to have inside in this matchup, because I want to pick out a great matchup in every game. It's going to be Quentin Johnson against Patrick Surtain the second, who banged up his ankle last week. And the whole team got banged up in the passing game. I'm taking the Chargers to win that game. Now, this is what I would say. These next two, like if I call it game 3, do I go, who would be number 2? I would have to go Lions-Ravens, which is a big game. Lions-Ravens. Now, this year is going to be in Baltimore. Now, remember what Detroit went through. And then after week 2, they talked about week 1. Didn't look so good on offense. But week 2, they put up a 50 burger. So now they believe they're back in rhythm. Almost St. Brown went off last week, And it happens when you get a new offensive coordinator. He's trying to also remember there have been guys that he's been working with. He's trying to feed them. And then sometimes he has to settle down and say, okay, I really do have the pecking order. And the offense gets back in the flow. And they got back in the flow last week. So St. Brown putting up a big game. Also, when I like pointing out battles, St. Brown for the Lions and Zay Flowers for the Ravens. You guys do know that the Ravens now have turned their passing game over to Zay Flowers. Remember it was Mark Andrews for so many years, and that meant that okay, Lamar Jackson, great run, but if my number one receiver is going to be a tight end, and we're doing short passing games, all right, you can kind of squeeze down. Now, Zay Flowers is the lead in the short passing game, and he can get over top of you. And here's the big kicker: when Lamar dropped that ball off to Mark Andrews, and he catch that thing, boop, he ain't gonna go. He won't go that far. Boop, you're gonna tip him. You're going to trip him. You're going to tackle him. If you miss him, he'll be right there in another yard. He ain't running away from nobody. But if you miss Zay Flowers, and when you miss Zay Flowers, whole different thing. So it makes that whole offense more explosive. And then when you try to pat it down, he goes over the top. I'll take the Ravens to win that game. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I think I'm only taking the Ravens because it's in Baltimore. If this game was in Detroit, I may flip that script. But I'm going to take the Ravens. It's in Baltimore. Now, that third game I want to holler at. Now, I was confused about, do I go Lions, Ravens as the number 1 big game or Rams, Eagles? And I go Rams, Eagles as the big game of the year. First of all, the champions are the champions. So that game right there is what it is. And the champion is undefeated, playing the team that is undefeated. And the team, the Rams, that they're playing, saying, we had y'all last year, even in the snow. We had y'all, let you off the hook. So you got our ring. And this game could be, let's see who takes the lead here. And I'm going to tell you why this game is too big, too, for me. Why I make it number 1. All off season, we talk about giving Jalen Hurts his due. He's a great quarterback, and he is a great quarterback. But what kind of quarterback? And we measure him against how he passes as opposed to when he runs and everything. Right now, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have not thrown a touchdown pass. And these are the things. You're going into game number 3. And you haven't thrown a touchdown pass, and you guys are undefeated. This is why people question the importance of Jalen Hurts. Now, that is also why the A.J. Brown and Puka Nacua battle is the battle I pulled out of this third game. Because the Eagles may want to jump in here and get ahead of the people like me, and then, boom, A.J. Brown goes off, and who knows? You see them at the podium saying, see, there was nothing to worry about. we told y'all we can do this anytime we want. You know, they bad boys if they could just pull 150 yards out anytime they want, anytime they make us doubt that Jalen Hurts is a top quarterback because he hasn't thrown any touchdown passes, and we have those conversations. And then they say, well, y'all brought it up. Okay, I'm just saying, look for it. Look for that battle. Because they know they got to get A.J. Brown more involved anyway before he gets more involved in a way they don't want him. I'm trusting. And I think I am taking the Eagles in that battle right there. I just wanted to give you that quick hit on the games for Sunday. You know, I'll talk about the Cowboys game all the time, but right now, my focus is on getting to Miami. I'm going to bring you right inside. Come on, right at the game. I appreciate you, dude.